TATJANA PATITZ embodied the spirit of an era, yet her final chapter was one no one expected. Rising from the peak of supermodel stardom to a sorrowful goodbye, her journey reflects elegance, tragedy, and mystery. What became of the woman once destined to shine endlessly? Discover the truth behind the supermodel's fate that will leave you speechless. Tana Patitz stood out from the crowd because of her quiet and calming presence. She did not need to be flashy or loud to capture people's attention. Photographers, editors, and designers were drawn to her unique aura without her having to make an effort. Despite this magnetic effect she had on others, Tana preferred to remain humble and stay out of the spotlight. In a fashion industry obsessed with loud and famous individuals, Tana stood out by being quietly unforgettable. She did not need to seek attention, as her calm demeanor had an air of mystery and depth. Tana appeared distant and unapproachable, making her seem unknowable. She wasn't interested in glamorous events and parties, but rather in the vastness of the sky, the tranquility of the forest, and the sense of liberation. Before she became a runway model or a camera model, she was a curious child. She was born in Germany but grew up in rural Sweden. Her hair glistened in the sunlight, and she loved spending time outdoors. She enjoyed exploring the open fields and wild forests. She wasn't popular in school because she was tall, shy, and stood out from the crowd. While her peers went to parties, she preferred to wander in nature. Instead of enjoying crowds, she liked being around animals. She never viewed herself as attractive. She felt awkward, uncertain of where she belonged, and a bit rebellious. Boys at school did not pay much attention to her, and she did not care. She was more content in her quiet world. However, life can suddenly change in an instant. At the age of 17, her life changed dramatically. A photographer from her town signed her up for a modeling contest called Elite Look of the Year. Even though she did not win the top prize, coming in third was a big deal for her. It led to an unexpected opportunity, an invitation from Paris. She did not have a glamorous beginning in the fashion industry like many people imagine. There were no fancy cars or instant fame in magazines. Instead, she dealt with crowded casting rooms with strangers, late-night fittings that made her tired, and long periods of feeling lonely. She longed for the peace and quiet of the countryside that she left behind. However, she continued moving forward. Quietly and gradually, she started to progress. Unlike Naomi Campbell or Cindy Crawford, she did not suddenly become famous in the spotlight. There was no explosive moment of fame for her. Instead, she slowly gained recognition in a steady and natural way. It was hard to categorize her appearance. She seemed gentle yet resilient. Despite her delicate beauty, she had a powerful presence. There was a sense of mystery in her eyes, yet she appeared natural. She did not try to act like someone else, she was just being herself. Some people in the fashion world had trouble grasping this.
To like an untamed horse, that just went completely berserk. And I think what happened...
They labeled her as untamed because she did not conform to their idea of the perfect image. Perhaps that was intentional. She wasn't seeking fame, she was just trying to make it in a society that values looks over character. She did not want to get caught up in the quest for attention. She just wanted to focus on her work and maintain her identity. However, she did not actively seek out the role. She still became a muse. Designers were influenced by her. Photographers found her to be a unique subject. Her calm demeanor and lack of desire to seek approval from the camera made her intriguing. Instead of crying for attention, she made people curious and compelled them to take a closer look. In the late 1980s, the fashion industry was going through changes with new trends and more competition emerging. Despite this, Tana remained consistent by not seeking fame or trying to overshadow others. She stayed true to herself and gracefully navigated through the fast-paced industry. Her professional achievements showed that being quiet doesn't mean you can't be successful. You don't have to draw attention to yourself to make a difference. Often, those who remain authentic ultimately make the greatest impact. Tana Patitz was a living example of this concept. She grew up in a peaceful countryside and brought her calm inner strength with her when she ventured into the fashion hubs of the world. Despite being mysterious, it was this enigma that made her charming. She desired for him to be brave enough to be authentic, to confidently stand by his beliefs while respecting others. Her goal was not only to see him happy, but also to teach him the importance of being caring and empathetic. She dreamed of him having love not only for people, but also for animals, for the environment, and for the earth as a whole. TATJANA believed in embracing the natural process of aging and saw her wrinkles as a badge of honor representing her life experiences. She viewed getting older as a gift that brought maturity and strength, rather than something to be ashamed of. She was proud of her wrinkles and considered them a part of her life story. She valued the wisdom that came with age and found beauty in the signs of life that aging brought. Overall, TATJANA's philosophy centered around accepting and celebrating the natural passage of time and all that it entailed. idea of beauty extended beyond just looks. She saw beauty as goodness, which meant being compassionate, helping others, and showing empathy. For her, beauty wasn't about a flawless face in a magazine or a perfect picture. Instead, it was about someone's deeds, their inner self, and their character. She thought that true beauty came from a person's values, their capacity for kindness, and their commitment to integrity. Tatiana lived a life of balance and was admired as a supermodel, but she valued love, relationships, and connections above all else. Her love for Jonah influenced every aspect of her life, from her career to her personal beliefs. In every picture they posted, whether in a fancy magazine or in personal family times, there was a clear truth. It was the truth of a mother's love, constant, comforting, and unwavering. Tatiana Patitz's legacy was not only in her beauty or famous pictures she left, but in the beliefs she held and gave to her son. Her life taught us that true beauty is not something that can be captured in a photograph, but rather something that is experienced in our hearts. This type of beauty grows and deepens over time, through wisdom and the love we share with others. For Tatiana, this love was reflected in her son, Jonah, who brought her the most joy. She hoped that he would embody her compassion, strength, and belief in the importance of being true to oneself as he went out into the world. TATJANA PATITZ, a well-known figure in the fashion world, passed away at the age of 56, leaving behind a sense of sadness among her family, friends, and fans. The news was confirmed by Vogue on January 11th, with her agent revealing that she had lost her battle with breast cancer. Her premature departure meant that she left her son, sister, and parents behind. Her absence was felt deeply, as she was not only admired for her looks, but also for her kindness, compassion, and generous nature. Known for her rare grace and warmth, whether in front of the camera or in her personal life, Tatiana had a special quality that touched those around her. Tatiana always had a compassionate heart for both people and animals. She was a strong supporter of animal rights, speaking up for those who couldn't speak for themselves. One issue that was especially important to her was the protection of wild horses. She believed in their freedom, dignity, and right to live without interference. Tatiana saw animals as beings deserving of respect, protection, and love, not just something to admire from afar. During the late 1980s and early 1990s, Tatiana was a highly celebrated model. She was considered one of the original supermodels, alongside Cindy Crawford, Naomi Campbell, Linda Evangelista, and Christy Turlington. Together, they defined a generation in the fashion industry. Despite her fame, Tatiana did not actively seek out the spotlight like many of her colleagues. She worked on the covers of top magazines and starred in iconic music videos, but she always maintained a sense of humility. When she felt like it, she would take a step back from the limelight. Her beauty was unique and unforgettable. Anna Wintour, who is in charge of content at Condé Nast and Vogue, said she was the epitome of European style, resembling a combination of Romy Schneider and Monica Vitti. She was less prominent than other supermodels, but this made her more mysterious and appealing. She did not try to be everywhere, which left people wanting more of her presence. When it was announced that she had passed away, many people started sending their praises. Friends, co-workers, and fans all talked about her with great love. Cindy Crawford, who had worked closely with her for a long time, shared old pictures and memories. She had unique, striking features, yet also displayed a natural elegance.
Really at home at all. It's beach, horse, animal person, I would say.
Animals play a key role.
She did not conform to the norm. She did not need to. Just by being herself, she questioned the fashion industry's standards. Tatiana demonstrated that beauty can be gentle without being feeble. She proved that vulnerability can have strength equal to a perfect appearance. She emphasized that true beauty is not about hiding individuality, but celebrating it. When she was around, being flawless was not important. Being real was what mattered. Peter Lindbergh once stated that she always remained true to herself, appearing gentle yet strong and independent while maintaining a sense of gentleness. Her unique qualities shone through in every photograph she took. She inspired individuals to rethink the definition of beauty. She was not just a picture on a page, but rather a concept. She served as a reminder that the most memorable faces were not always the ones with flawless features, but those that were authentic and genuine. In the late 1990s, Tatiana was still working and still being featured in magazines and campaigns, but there was a change in her attitude. She no longer felt the need to keep up with others in the industry. She found her rhythm and path. While the world still saw her as a top supermodel, she was focused on a new chapter in her life where her happiness was more important than outside recognition. Tatiana was more than just a pretty face from the fashion world's prime time. She showed what happens when you don't let yourself be taken over by the industry. She exemplified that beauty doesn't always have to be loud. It can be powerful in its subtlety. This quiet strength and presence can last longer than a fleeting moment of fame. Her influence did not come from how many magazine covers she was on, the designers she worked with, or the ad campaigns she led. Instead, it came from how she changed people's perception of beauty. While society values perfection, she emphasized the strength of authenticity. Even today, her photos still have a lively quality, not because of what she's wearing or where she is, but because they show a person who stayed true to herself. TATJANA PATITZ never let the fashion industry define her identity. As a result, she became a truly memorable figure. The world that she had a part in creating was evolving. In the past, the fashion industry admired her elegance and ageless beauty, but now it was changing too quickly for her liking. Trends were changing rapidly, and the focus on youth and fame was overwhelming. However, TATJANA PATITZ was not interested in keeping up with the fast pace of the industry anymore. She had already dedicated a lot of her time and energy to that world. She had kept her personal life private for a long time.
And trying to keep relationships together. And then I thought, okay, I need to make a decision. What comes first, my life or the career?
Shielding her vulnerable side from the pressures of being famous. She had avoided the temptation to reveal more of herself and conform to the never-ending demands of show business. Instead of seeking attention and attending glamorous events like others, Tana decided to pursue a more secluded and peaceful lifestyle. She felt more connected to nature and peaceful. Her days became calmer, kinder, and more meaningful, not influenced by magazines or fashion shows. She immersed herself in the presence of animals, the sound of leaves, and the steady beat of the earth. It wasn't about avoiding reality, but a conscious choice she made decisively and with confidence. She was aware of the industry's ability to consume someone. She had witnessed friends lose parts of themselves in order to stay popular. She was determined not to let that happen to her. As trends changed rapidly in the fashion industry, Tana decided to take things slowly. Even though photographers and designers still showed interest in her, she started saying no more often. Tana wasn't leaving the fashion world because she had to, but because she wanted to. It wasn't about rejecting opportunities, but about finding freedom, the kind that comes when you stop rushing around. In a society that always wanted more beauty, fame, and youth, Tana chose to stay true to herself and not conform. She quietly stepped away from the spotlight without making a big show or giving interviews. She just disappeared from the public eye. She never fit into the world of fashion. She had been part of it, but her true passion lay elsewhere. Now she could finally live on her terms. Her safe haven was a house in Malibu, away from the stress of the fashion industry. In this peaceful setting, the only noise was the sound of the ocean, and her main focus was caring for the animals that crossed her path. Her home was not just a house, it was a sanctuary for all living beings that were fortunate enough to discover it. The air was full of the quiet sound of paws and the soothing buzz of activity. In this place, she could stroll barefoot on the grass and feel the ground beneath her feet. It wasn't the luxurious life that the industry may have expected for her, but it was even better. It belonged to her. The most significant change in Tana's life did not come from quitting her job in fashion, but from becoming a mother. In 2004, her son Jonah was born. Everything changed for her from that point on. Modeling brought her fame, but being a mother gave her a meaningful purpose. Jonah became the most important part of her life, influencing her decisions and bringing her happiness. In Malibu, she focused on creating a loving and compassionate environment for her son Jonah to grow up in. She wanted him to learn the importance of being kind to others as well as animals. She also wanted him to appreciate the beauty of calm and quiet moments. She made the choice to raise her son away from the glamour and pressure of the fashion industry, not because she preferred it, but because she felt it was essential. She wanted him to have a childhood free from the pressures of fame and superficial judgments.
Like when I was a little girl, and so it's nice to be back, but because I don't remember very much of.
Tell me, how did your career?
Tana believed that teaching her son to see the beauty and value in things beyond the surface was her most important task. Even though she had a peaceful life, she still faced difficulties. She dealt with health issues, personal battles, and private struggles in private. She kept these hardships to herself and did not seek sympathy or share her pain with others. Her strength was quiet but consistent, resembling a sturdy tree enduring all types of weather. She faced challenges with grace, refusing to let them shape her identity. She understood that not every problem had to be discussed and not every pain mandated an audience. Her existence showed that bravery can exist without recognition, and genuine resilience is often found in silence. She wasn't leaving something behind on her journey, but moving towards something more fulfilling and authentic. After being in the spotlight, she now enjoys peaceful moments in the morning sun with her son and animals around her, feeling a sense of contentment she had always sought. Tana Patitz used to be involved in a world where beauty and importance were judged by short-lived moments and media attention. But now, her life revolves around her son's affectionate hugs, morning laughter, and peaceful moments watching the sunset with a cup of tea. While the industry has moved on, Tana has not been forgotten. Instead, she has decided to take a different path where she can live freely and authentically without the need to pretend to be someone she is not. In the end, she did not vanish. Instead, she thrived in a place away from the spotlight. TATJANA Patitz used to play her favorite role as a mother, rather than as a model in front of cameras. She was married to businessman Jason Randall Johnson, and in 2004, their lives were forever altered when their son, Jonah Johnson, was born. Jonah was not just a child to her, he became her cause of happiness and the most important part of her life. From the moment he was born, Jonah received love not just from his mother, but also from the creative world she was a part of. TATJANA effortlessly included him in her work, taking him along on editorial shoots, where their close relationship added warmth to her elegant career. They were featured together in American Vogue in August 2012 in The Great Escape, where their strong connection outshone the fancy clothes and settings. Years later, in December 2019, they were featured once again in Vogue for the Family Matters story, with beautiful and heartfelt images capturing their bond without the need for words. In 2019, TATJANA shared her thoughts in an interview with Mercedes-AMG's 63 magazine. She talked about Jonah and how he brings happiness to her life. Instead of focusing on fame or glamour, TATJANA values her friends, pets, and nature, as they provide her with peace and stability. These things help her stay grounded and focused, even as the fashion industry changes rapidly. She had a clear and deep desire for her son. She wanted Jonah to grow up to be someone who was understanding and compassionate, with a kind and confident personality. She desired for him to be brave enough to be authentic, to confidently stand by his beliefs while respecting others. Her goal was not only to see him happy, but also to teach him the importance of being caring and empathetic. She dreamed of him having love not only for people, but also for animals, for the environment, and for the earth as a whole. TATJANA believed in embracing the natural process of aging and saw her wrinkles as a badge of honor representing her life experiences. She viewed getting older as a gift that brought maturity and strength, rather than something to be ashamed of. She was proud of her wrinkles and considered them a part of her life story. She valued the wisdom that came with age and found beauty in the signs of life that aging brought. Overall, TATJANA's philosophy centered around accepting and celebrating the natural passage of time and all that it entailed. Her idea of beauty extended beyond just looks. She saw beauty as goodness, which meant being compassionate, helping others, and showing empathy. For her, beauty wasn't about a flawless face in a magazine or a perfect picture. Instead, it was about someone's deeds, their inner self, and their character. She thought that true beauty came from a person's values, their capacity for kindness, and their commitment to integrity. TATJANA lived a life of balance and was admired as a supermodel, but she valued love, relationships, and connections above all else. Her love for Jonah influenced every aspect of her life, from her career to her personal beliefs. In every picture they posted, whether in a fancy magazine or in personal family times, there was a clear truth. It was the truth of a mother's love, constant, comforting, and unwavering. TATJANA Patitz's legacy was not only in her beauty or famous pictures she left, but in the beliefs she held and gave to her son. Her life taught us that true beauty is not something that can be captured in a photograph, but rather something that is experienced in our hearts. This type of beauty grows and deepens over time, through wisdom and the love we share with others. For TATJANA, this love was reflected in her son, Jonah, who brought her the most joy. She hoped that he would embody her compassion, strength, and belief in the importance of being true to oneself as he went out into the world. TATJANA Patitz, a well-known figure in the fashion world, passed away at the age of 56, leaving behind a sense of sadness among her family, friends, and fans. The news was confirmed by Vogue on January 11th, with her agent revealing that she had lost her battle with breast cancer. Her premature departure meant that she left her son, sister, and parents behind. Her absence was felt deeply, as she was not only admired for her looks, but also for her kindness, compassion, and generous nature. Known for her rare grace and warmth, whether in front of the camera or in her personal life, TATJANA had a special quality that touched those around her. TATJANA always had a compassionate heart for both people and animals. She was a strong supporter of animal rights, speaking up for those who couldn't speak for themselves. One issue that was especially important to her was the protection of wild horses.